And away we go. It is the Bearcat Journal Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken. Visit www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app for Android, iPhone, and everything Galactic. Go to Galactic Fried Chicken, Dayton, Kentucky. Mention Pump It Up. Show your Bearcat Journal credentials. 15% off. Aaron's going to be there tomorrow.
Sounds far, but it's right across the river. It's right across the river.
If you think that Newport on the Levee is close,
well, nobody knows
Fried
where
Chicken is close.
Listen, I'll be completely honest with you. Anybody who's from Cincinnati does not know that Dayton, Kentucky is right across the river. It
right
sounds far
yeah.
because they're used to Dayton, Ohio.
Right.
They're like, oh, that's deep in there. No, Dayton, Kentucky, right across the river.
You're going to be there tomorrow.
Yep.
You're gonna get your first taste of Galactic Fried Chicken. You're going tendies.
Tendies.
You're going Galactic sauce, Chipotle honey mustard.
Some of these white people don't sweat when they have spicy.
If it's too much for you, Kelsey mixes it with their ranch, just so you know.
Not me.
If it's a little bit too much.
All the way in.
Fries, mac and cheese, mashed potatoes. Which is Aaron a fries guy?
I like all three, but the fries got to be seasoned if I'm going to go fries.
The fries are outstanding. Fries are really good. But so is the mac and cheese. So is the mashed potatoes. And then deviled eggs. Are you a deviled eggs guy? You look like a deviled eggs guy at the holidays. You're munching on some deviled eggs.
I didn't get into deviled eggs until about 3-4 years ago. Honestly, like it was not my jam, and something changed. I don't know what it was, but I'm in on deviled eggs now.
Fried pickles?
No, F pickles all the way.
I'm not a pickles guy. I will say this: I'm not a pickles guy, and the fried pickles at Galactic I can eat them
all the way out on pickles.
I don't love pickles. It's never been a.
If it's on a Chick-fil-A sandwich because the batter's already mixed with pickles, it's almost kind of afterthought at that point. But yeah, I'm not a pickles guy.
All right, let's get going. We got a lot to get to tonight.
Let's go.
Bearcats 79-71 winners over ECU tonight. It was a dominant first half of action. Cincinnati led by 20. Felt like it might have possibly even been more. As well as they played. ECU had a very good second half. They had a star turn performance from a name UC fans are familiar with from a long time ago. Vance Jackson played at UConn, started his career at UConn in I think 2017. He spent 3 years at New Mexico. I forget where he was, somewhere else last year. And then this year, now he's at ECU. 35 points, 8 of 11 from 3, 13 of 22 from the floor, 9 rebounds. He was a beast for East Carolina tonight and kept them in the game, especially in the second half as they tried to come back. They got it down to 5. They could never get it closer. Another learning experience for this team, Aaron, because I think for the first 15 minutes of the game, this was exactly what we thought this team was going to be able to do to ECU. And then for the the last 5 minutes of the first half, they allowed ECU to find a rhythm. And that carried over into the second half. A 20-point lead got all the way down to 5. But I think you also have to give credit to this team for finishing it out, for closing the deal. Let's see. At the 6:49 mark in the first half, 6:49 remaining, ECU had 15 points. And they went in with 29. And I think that gave them some momentum, some confidence that offensively they could get things going. I think Cincinnati also let their foot off the gas in terms of defensive intensity over that final 6 or so minutes. And it carried over into the second half. But I think it was really good to see that over the final 5 minutes, the Cincinnati team again put the clamps on ECU and were able to kind of comfortably get the win.
If I'm honest, I walked out of that arena wondering what the hell just happened. Because at one point, I feel like we were up 30-8. And then all of a sudden, it wasn't that. Like,
They were never up 30-8.
I mean, it felt like that. Everyone who watched the first half, I think, felt like that.
It was 25-8.
But then you finish where they did catch back up to 5. So it was kind of like a reverse Tulane, if you will.
It's very similar to that, yeah.
Where the first half, they came out firing on all cylinders. And then the second half, you're wondering, what just happened? I mean, I think we went 7 full minutes without a field goal in the second half.
So here's the thing that we're learning about this team, I think, Aaron. When they get stops, when they are playing at a high level on the defensive end, they're able to get into their transition. They're able to get into that secondary break that Roy Williams and North Carolina were so famous for. They're able to play against a defense that isn't set. When they are not locked in defensively, they do not get those opportunities, and then they have to play half-court offense. And this is not a team built to play half-court offense for 15 minutes. Like, it's just not.
So there was a rotation in the second half where it was Vic at the 5 and Odie at the 4, or vice versa, however you want to call it, and Newman at the 3, and Micah at the 2, and Mikey Saunders at the 1. And I feel like that was maybe the worst 4 minutes that this team has played all season. I have no idea what they were doing with that rotation, and it bothered me.
I think I think you get too caught up in that at times. Get stops. It doesn't matter what guys are on the floor. And yeah, there are rotations that are less inclined to be good defensively. But if that rotation got stops and they were able to push the ball up the floor, guess what? We wouldn't have had a complaint about that rotation.
On the other side of that, I felt like nobody on that rotation could actually score.
Well, when you're playing half-court offense, there aren't many guys on this roster that can score regardless of the rotation.
Fair enough.
Right? Like if you force this, that's why I've talked about like the difference over these last 3.5 games. Teams have been playing man against Cincinnati. It makes no sense to me. If I was breaking down tape of Cincinnati, I don't know that I would come out of a 2-3 zone.
I mean, at this point, there's no real reason to. If you're
if
you're a good coach.
ECU played it for a little bit. Cincinnati beat it with a backdoor like lob pass from DeJulius to, I think, Koval.
That was maybe the most impressive play of the entire game when Koval had that dunk right over everybody down the lane late in the second half.
No, this was a backdoor. I think we're thinking of 2 different plays.
I think maybe we are. What was the one where Koval broke down the middle of the lane off a pass?
And DeJulius hit him with the pass. That wasn't against the zone. That was against man.
Okay.
It might have been Hensley even. I don't remember specifically, but no, it was DeJulius to Koval over the top of the defense, and Koval just kind of laid it in. But they don't have enough firepower to just sit and grind out half-court offense. It's just not who they are. And a lot of that throughout the second half, we saw in the first half, they were playing in transition. They were getting stops. They were getting defensive rebounds. They were getting down the floor, and they were beating ECU to their spots and getting buckets. Second half, ECU, especially Vance Jackson, putting points on Cincinnati. So now you got to take the ball out of the net. The defense gets set. You got to play against a set half-court defense. And this team's just not philosophically built for that the way that the roster is.
Well, and he came into this game averaging just over 10, and he put a clinic on Cincinnati with 35.
Well, yeah,
let's be honest.
You hit 8 threes. You're
Jeremiah Davenport last week. I mean,
right.
against Memphis.
Well, and guess what? You know what ECU's fans are saying? We had a guy hit 8 threes and we lost. They're
It's
dealing
tough.
with the same. They're dealing with the same anger that
tough.
UC fans are dealing with.
Sure.
3 days ago. But that's just the nature of this team. They have to be dialed in and connected defensively in order to make the offense work.
Well, and let's be real. ECU came in with 10 wins. They're not a slouch team. Like it's not somebody to be taken super lightly or anything like that. It's not the out of conference play that we had earlier in the season.
Yeah, they got a couple guys that can go. I mean, but it's still ECU.
I get it. I mean, I know that there's a certain cognizance that goes with them being them, but at the end of the day, it's still a 10-win team with only 4 losses coming into this game. So regardless, I will take this as a learning experience, and it was a tough first half.
Tough second half.
Well, I'm sorry, it's a tough second half, followed after a very good first half, largely, at least 3/4 of the first half, before they just decided
were good. They were still good offensively through the end of that first half. They just let ECU find some things that worked that then they continued to exploit in the second half. I think that's the lead. It is, once again, 40 minutes, man. This team is not good enough to play 15, 20 minutes of good basketball and comfortably win games.
Play to the bell. Like, you have to play to the bell. Like, you did it against Memphis. You did it against SMU. This was almost the opposite of what happened against Tulane.
It's an interesting bookend, right?
Where, yes.
The first half of Tulane was awful. The second half of ECU was not good. And the 120 minutes in between were exactly what we want to see from this team.
Phenomenal. So we gotta have this team coming out firing on all cylinders for 40 minutes every game, not just the first half or the second half or against SMU and Memphis.
And we'll get to this as the week goes on. But boy, they got a big one Sunday. You go in and
Wichita is not
at Wichita.
That's not one to be taken lightly either.
Wichita's got Etienne's still there. They've still got some dudes.
How old is that guy?
He's been there for a long time.
Man.
I remember scouting him. I think before,
7 years, 4 score and 7 years ago.
I think the only person currently on staff when I scouted him in high school was Dave.
that tells you everything you need to know.
So, you've got to go in there. And if you play like you played at Memphis, I think they can knock off Wichita State. This is starting with today is the most critical 5-game stretch of the season because it defines where you're at going into February and whether you have the opportunity to play for a spot at the top of the league.
Well, regardless of the quick whistles, I hope the second half was a wake-up call.
Yeah,
we aren't talking about the whistles, but
I did get, like, I asked around, I did get a bit of an explanation on the John Newman technical, which
finally
they said he threw the ball at somebody. I didn't see that. Does that sound like John Newman to you? Like the nicest, sweetest kid on the roster? That John Newman got fouled on a fast break and just like Yancey Gates chucked the ball at somebody's face?
The guy who, as soon as he got here, he was like, "Hey, Skyline, what's up?" No, it doesn't sound like him at all. Like, I mean, that's just not the kid that we've come to know and love.
They didn't show. I'm home. I didn't get to go to the game tonight. I'm in health and safety protocol after a close contact.
Thanks, Brent.
Yeah, thanks, Brent. No, it wasn't Brent. It wasn't Brent. But it had to be safe tonight. We're good so far. No symptoms. Everything's okay. But we were in close contact, and I didn't want to, put the rest of the media crew at risk just in case. But I didn't see that. If anybody else saw John Newman throw the ball at somebody, I'd love to see. They didn't replay it on the ESPN Plus broadcast.
Clip it and add at Chad.
Yeah. Because I think if anything, like John Newman was just tossing the ball like in the direction
To
of
the
an
ref.
official. Yeah. I didn't see him chuck a ball at anyone. Like that would have been.
It was 2 minutes into the game. Who was
He wasn't even mad yet.
Who would he have even been mad at to chuck a ball at somebody?
Right. I didn't see it.
Maybe at Dandridge, who palmed his face,
right, and spiked him.
But not.
Do you watch the Coach B Twitter feed?
I don't know who Coach B is.
Oh boy, I gotta get you hip to that. He does these Twitter feeds where it's like a tape of college and NFL games where he acts like all the characters and he starts out as the coach.
So it's like John Boy.
I don't know.
John Boy does baseball in the same. Well,
it's very like there's a lot of your mama jokes and your sister jokes,
so it's like John Boy.
So he's sitting there like he did one for Alabama and he's got the Saban wig on and he's sitting there with the like thing the pointer and he makes your mama jokes and like it's very. But they did one. I think it was the Steelers game in week 17 against the Browns. Maybe I think that might have been it. And there was a stiff arm where he drove the dude's head into the ground, and they put it on loop and started playing basketball like you're playing basketball, where the running back was just bouncing the defender's head.
John Boy is more of the I read your lips and I'll break down the video of reading your lips and all that. So
this is
not quite on the same page then.
We're going to watch it together when we get done with this so you get a feel for it.
That's fine. 17 minutes in. Let's go.
Yeah. Football.
Josh Wiley's back.
The most I told you he was a prima donna.
I really wanted him to be on that unicorn as we described last night, which would have been phenomenal. The waffle cone that he takes off and eats boldly Bearcat.
Instead, he had an outstanding announcement video.
Working on it.
Oh, Jesus, Aaron.
I have to click too many things to make this actually happen. There's too many I have to allow. We're on it.
I love that dude. I know we have this like rivalry, this online feud between Josh and I. I love that. Like he's the best. He has fun with it. He doesn't take it too serious. Really happy to have Josh back in the fold for one more ride.
Well, and especially when the news comes from Danny Lewis today that he is decommitting from Cincinnati and he's going to LSU, which I think that we had all already come to that.
He didn't commit to LSU. He just announced that he had an offer to LSU.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
He's
going to LSU.
He's following his OC. Yeah. Fine. Understandable. Who's also your tight ends coach. I get it. Fair enough. But we talked about it before Lenny and Josh said they were coming back, that there was a gaping hole at tight end. That gaping hole has been filled. In all the right ways.
With that terminology.
It's not great, but it is what it is.
I'm uncomfortable with that terminology. Like, we're not using that anymore. No more gaping holes, okay?
Filled correctly.
Jesus Christ. Ay, Dios mío. And now you have an offense that has either Evan Prater or Ben Bryant at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You have a stable of running backs.
Still curious to see how that shakes out.
You and me both. I can't wait for spring football.
Same.
You have Tyler Scott, Jaden Thompson, Nick Mardner. You have Chris Scott. You have Drew Donnelly. You have Blue Smith. You have Trey Tucker. You have Will Pauling. You have all these weapons at wide receiver.
There was other news at wide receiver today. Jordan Jones is moving on.
Not surprising. He did not really ever find his footing. But he made some plays here at Cincinnati. He wasn't. It was a transfer that worked.
He threw Desmond Ridder his only touchdown pass.
Yeah, and he was last year when they needed him when Pierce was hurt. He was an effective, but the addition of Nick Mardner means
it hurt him. Yes,
you don't need Jordan Jones. Jordan Jones is going to be in his 7th year of college next year.
Kids are able to do that these days.
He should have a PhD, right? He should be Dr. Jordan Jones.
He said he was going.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Jordan Jones.
He did say in his clapback, because people were calling him out on some stuff. In his clapback, he said, "I'm going for my master's. Come at me. Like, I'm getting a master's at no cost. Why not? Go for it, bro. Go for it."
My point being, he should be Brian Mason. He should have 4 masters, right?
Well, I mean, he's doing his thing.
I know. Jordan Jones, he played a role. So good luck to him. But there's a lot of weapons on offense right now.
Yes.
Ethan Wright, Ryan Montgomery, Charles McClellan. I'm gonna tell you what. Keep an eye out, because I think the 4th guy in that room could be a guy in camp. We're wondering if he's starting to dominate the carries. Miles Montgomery's a dude. If you ask me, of all the other backs on the roster not named Jerome Ford, the one that looked like he could most be like Jerome Ford, it was Miles Montgomery.
We'll find out soon enough, man. You said it last night. 2 months. We are 2 months from spring.
I'm so excited. And Josh is back. Lenny's back. Jeremy Cooper's back.
Yeah, that was
James
another one.
Tunstall's back.
Mm-hmm.
I have all my notes ready. Tomorrow, I'm going to do my best to sit down and write this this offensive part of the projected 2 deep, and it looks good. This looks like an offense that's gonna have a chance to be really, really good.
6'6", Chad.
What, Nick Mardner?
He is 6'6". We have never had a weapon like that at receiver.
Okay.
Can't wait.
I'm excited about a lot more than Nick Mardner, but I'm excited about Nick Mardner as well. Like, somebody mentioned it today. Between Mardner, Josh, Lenny, Trey Scott, Trey Tucker, or Tyler Scott, Trey Tucker, you're going to be able to put a mix of serious size and speed on the field.
You know what I'm more excited about than any of the actual offensive weapons? Receiver, tight end, running back. It doesn't matter. I'm more excited about the fact that we have Prater, Ben Bryant, and Luther Richardson competing at quarterback.
You just don't like Brady Lichtenberg?
That's another dude too, but he's not. He did not come in at the same level.
He kind of did. He's one of the best. I mean, he's really good. Like, broke a high school. Like, it's pretty good. He had a great career. I wouldn't sell Lichtenberg short.
This whole quarterback competition is going to be wildly entertaining.
And, dude, don't you dare disrespect Jack Perry. Mainly because if his dad finds out, he could ruin you.
I've been ruined by less, so touche.
Yeah. All right, we're done here. We're going to wrap it up. Your thoughts?
Vinny McConnell was giving snaps to Mackenzie, or is it Mackenzie? The kid from UCF.
Mackenzie Milton.
Yeah, Mackenzie Milton. He was snapping to him in the practices for the
Aloha Bowl.
Aloha Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was
I
another.
wonder if he asked him about Mackenzie Milton talking shit about UC all year.
Just thought it was interesting that he was the one giving snaps, as was not the center here this year. So
were you excited to see the announcement last night? Mo Egger, part of Team BCJ.
I think Mo Egger was probably less excited to see me tapping on him as he was trying to produce the show tonight.
Oh,
even
God,
though
no, you didn't.
Well, even though Terry was wandering around and nobody was talking, Dan was not talking. I thought I was in a good space to tap on him and say hi. I did one of these, like, are you producing? Like, tapping in my ears, and he was like, yeah. And then I went on my way. But no one was talking. I thought I was in good space. Terry was not even at the headset. Just saying. But
Just leave Maloney's when he's at the table.
Yes, I'm excited. Clearly.
We'll have Mo on to talk about it soon.
It's fine.
All right. He's Aaron Smith. I'm Chad Brendel. Aaron will be at Galactic Fried Chicken tomorrow around lunch if you want to get his autograph.
If you want to hang.
What time?
Let's say 12.
12? 12:30.
12.
You probably 12:30. You probably I
Nope.
know how much you sleep. You might need to do 12:30.
Hard 12. Mom's busy at 12. I got to go back to mom's and do some things at her place after she gets done with what she's got going on at 1. 12 it is.
Hard noon. Aaron,
Hard noon.
Galactic Fried Chicken. Come see him. All right, that wraps it up. You're gonna say something. You're waiting to do the see ya?
Yeah.
All right. I'm Chad Brendel. He's Aaron Smith. This is the Nightcap right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!